What is good, everybody? So LSU versus Arkansas. LSU got the win. Got to get a look at Michael Van Buren starting in place of the quote-unquote injured Garrett Nussmeier. Wink, wink. So let's get into the film of Michael Van Buren versus Arkansas. Alrighty, first play here, 2nd down and 7. LSU trying to run a post with a wheel and a shallow, right? And they're going to have this off of a play action toss going this way, trying to get the defense to flow this way and also bite up to open up that post here to the receiver out there to the boundary, right? And you can see it's going to be wide open. We just don't hit on the throw. So there's the play action, gets the defense flowing up and over right there and opens up a big, nice spot here in this zone. And Michael Van Buren is throwing this thing more as if it's like a straight up seam ball when you can see the receiver is definitely running this thing as a post, right? And this safety back here, you can see right at the snap, he's going to get wide and he's going to get depth going this way, right? And that should tell the receiver he definitely needs to bend this thing inside, which he does. And that also should tell the quarterback where he needs to put this ball. So right here, miscommunication, you could say, I guess, but this ball definitely needs to be put on the receiver, on the money right here, because it is wide open in this zone and they had a chance for a huge play. And instead, we almost throw an interception. So let's look at it from the end zone view here. You could see it was wide open. They just weren't on the same page, and it was almost an interception, and LSU got lucky on that one. Next one here, LSU going to get a rollout. Everybody's just going to roll out this way. Offensive line are going to try to build a wall for this quarterback, and the quarterback is going to try to hit one of these guys on the sail flood. So you're going to get a guy going deep. You're going to get a guy underneath, and then you're going to get a sail in the intermediate. And the intermediate is going to be open on this play. I think if Van Buren wants to let this thing rip a tick sooner, he sort of holds on the ball too long here. So you can see there's the rollout, right? And at this point right now, we got to let this thing rip to this intermediate wide receiver. Wide open. So let it rip. He's still looking at it, and he just waits a second too long to where, he kind of has to rush the throw to where pressure is in his face and the ball just kind of dies in the air, right? Still almost gets it there, right? But if he just throws this thing a second sooner, like right now, right as that receiver's coming out of his break, or even right now, that he'd be good to go, but he just waits a second too long on the throw and they aren't able to connect on it. But it was there to be made. It was wide open. And we just wait a little bit too long and the ball dies on us. Receiver, good effort, but not enough. Next one, this is on a 3rd down and 7. And one thing I'm noticing right away with Van Buren is he gets really happy feet in the pocket when he thinks there's going to be pressure. And he's not exactly trusting his offensive line, which, we've all seen LSU's offensive line perform this year. I can't exactly blame the guy, right? But so essentially what we're going to get here is we're going to get a whip, and then we're going to get like a post behind it. Looks like maybe we're high-low in this, and we're going to have like a check down over here in the field. And I just feel like if he stays in the pocket and hangs out and trusts his protection, has a little bit calmer feet, maybe we can hit on this check down. Like you can see there, he kind of panics when there's going to be, the offensive line actually does a nice job of picking everything up. And he's going to maybe look for either him or him, but it's covered up nicely by LSU, and he tries to throw one in there that just isn't going to fit. But maybe if we hang out in that pocket, get our eyes backside. Once we see these ain't going to be open, we can hit our check down over here, right? Or perhaps come up to this level of the field and hit our backside post or dig or whatever it's going to be, if we get a little bit better effort as well from this receiver on the backside. So this 3rd down and 7, not the greatest job by really anybody here, including the receivers. Offensive line does a nice job, like I said, but as you can see, look at his feet. Like they get a little panicky, but the offensive line, I mean, that's a good pocket right there, right? Like that's a good pocket. Can hang out in there, step up, do whatever, and find somebody open, check down, but we get out of there and we get an incompletion and we end up having to punt the football. Now this one's better. This is sort of like the rollout we saw earlier, but this time we're going to get a jet coming across the formation to get the defense flowing opposite of where we want to go. And again, like before, we're going to get somebody in the low flat, medium, and a deep guy, right? We're going to end up hitting the over in the medium part of the field this time, right? So there it is. The jet gets the defense to move that way. We roll out and we let it rip over the middle of the field with pressure in our face, sort of behind our, throwing it across our body a little bit, which is not really what you want to do. But when something is this wide open, I mean, we can make it happen, right? All these guys got cannons for arms these days. So again, there's the jet rollout. I like the play call as well. Let that thing rip across your body when it's safe to do so, right? Don't want to do this like every play or make it a habit, but this is a really nice play here from Michael Van Buren Jr. This one here, another poorly thrown ball. So this is one that you want to throw on that outside shoulder of the receiver here up top on this outbreaker. Right there, you want to let that thing go a little bit of anticipation, throw it on that upfield shoulder, on the outside shoulder, so that he can catch it in stride and turn up the sideline and run with it. And he's got a ton of room out here, right? So let's just lay this thing out here this way, right? On that upfield shoulder. But instead, the ball is going to be placed inside to where now the receiver is going to have to try and contort his body, turn around his body to the last second to try and make a catch. Now, ball should have 100% still have been caught, right? Ends up being dropped. But this is just making life harder on your wide receiver. We got to throw the thing outside, catch it, and go up the sideline. That's a ton of room up the sideline, man. But we throw it inside inaccurately, and we get an incompletion. Now here on 3rd down and 7, this is how you rip a seam ball. This is what you like to see on the money. Put it on the receiver's chest where he can catch that thing and keep going, right? It's pretty simple. We're going to get the stopper, the little hook route right here that's going to occupy these underneath zones. It's going to have him bite down right here, right? And we're just going to run this post or this seam bender right behind it. Quarterback lets it rip. Good throw, right? Puts his receiver in a nice position to make a catch. And you get a positive explosive play. Because in rhythm, back foot hits, one, maybe two little hop step hitches, whatever you want to call them, and boom, puts it on him. That's a nice play from the quarterback right there. Next one here, this is kind of an insane play. So LSU is going to go with a Yankee concept. We get a deep over and a deep post, right? And this is really one that you want to hit when it's clean and not necessarily in traffic like it is here. And it's really it's not pretty by any means whatsoever. Like, so we go play action, right? Our feet are super antsy. We're trying to hitch into this thing, maybe throw it right now. We don't like it, so we kind of end up having to throw it like as we're doing like a Superman motion, but somehow, even though there's traffic all around here, a triangle of defenders, we actually get the ball in there, like an insane throw across our body. And it's not caught, obviously, but we're just looking at the throw. So here's the play action. You can see he's kind of hop, skippity, jumping, and he just like throws it like while he's also jumping forward while leaning forward. I don't know, it's weird. But you can see the ball, it's somehow, I mean, it gets there, right? It gets there, but it's not caught. So despite it not looking the prettiest, this is actually an insane throw from the quarterback and really shows a crazy amount of arm strength to do so, but got to help your quarterback out by catching it. Next one here, right before half, trying to go for the end zone shot here, and LSU is going to be in a 3-by-1 formation. They're going to run verticals versus man coverage, and what Van Buren sees is this guy pressed up on the outside here, so really he's got his mind made up. He's going to let this thing rip over here to the bottom of the screen, but really post-snap, when he sees this cornerback bail, he needs to come off of it, right? He's not going to press him. He's going to get out of there immediately and bail, and he's going to stack that receiver, and this route is essentially dead on the goat, right? What would you like to see when he sees that? Well, get your eyes back inside to the slot where we actually do get more of a aggressive style, not necessarily aggressive, but more of a press, in your face type of technique from the DB rather than what you see down here where this guy's immediately stacked with the DB running down the field. But you can see the slot, he's going to run right past this guy. And if we could recognize this right here, we can let this thing go off the butt of this DB and hit this seam right here that would be wide open, right? We have a safety coming over the top, but he's not going to get there in time to make that play. So these are the type of things you would like to see him hit maybe, as he progresses in his career or whatever. But, he's just trying to take a shot. He's one-on-one press. It is what it is. Can't blame him. It's right before half anyway. All right, coming out of half, this throw right here was an absolute seed up the sideline to the receiver, and it's similar like the previous play, right? You see this guy really pressed up here, and you're going to take a shot. But this time the difference is this DB doesn't bail out immediately, and he's more playing in the traditional press type of technique. So he gets up in his face, right? Doesn't get hands-on, but he stays in his face, and at this point, he's not stacked, so we really have a shot. Van Buren sees it, lets it rip, and the receiver does the rest, tracks the ball in the air, stacks the receiver at the very last second, and is able to stick an arm out there and make a play on that ball. This is a beautiful throw and a really nice catch from the receiver as well. You can see Van Buren, back foot hitches once, and then lays it in the bucket right there. That's a really nice job from both the receiver and the quarterback on that play. Next one here on a 3rd down and 11, we have a missed opportunity down the field. So we're going to get a hitch or a hook. Same thing, just deeper, and then behind it, we're going to have a receiver that's going to come open behind those guys. And because we have those two hooks sort of in the middle of the field, they're going to make sure we occupy these zone defenders are going to bite up on them, and it's going to open up space behind here on this post for a receiver that is wide butt naked open right there, right? And you can see the quarterback, we have time in the pocket. Sit in there and read this thing out. Instead, we try to force one that isn't there with a defender right there, and we give a bad throw anyway towards that. We throw it more towards the left when really, if we're going to throw it, it needs to be down low to the right, but really it shouldn't be thrown at all. If you're going to throw one of these hooks, it should be the one that's at least open right here. But instead, we really need to be focusing in and hanging in there in the pocket and trying to pick up this first down, because the play that was drawn, it worked perfectly, and it got a guy open past the sticks on a 3rd and 11, but we just got to sit in that pocket and make the throw. Next one here, again, one of those sort of where you get outside of the pocket and you have 3 level options here. This time we're going to hit the deep one on a comeback route, and it's a really nice throw from Van Buren. So if you look at the route right here, gives a little stutter and go, and then boom, puts his foot in the ground, and it's going to come back to the ball. Van Buren's letting this thing go right now as he's getting out of his break, and he puts that thing on the money. That's good quarterback play. Next one here, huge play in the 4th quarter on a 3rd down and 10. We're going to get a clear out. We're going to get a hook, and we're going to get the in route, dagger concept, right? And we're going to hit this in route right here, perfect on the money before this DB can get back to it, before this defender can get back to it. Arkansas is going to spin out into cover 2. We're going to have that Mike traveling with the number 3 that's clearing out right there. So you could see that clear out's going to kind of move and make a passing window. And then the underneath guy right here is going to try and hold this defender down just enough to create this passing window for this dig. And Van Buren let that thing go at the perfect time. I mean, any later than this, it is going to be a pass breakup 100%. I mean, he stands in the pocket, right? Like I've been criticizing him all day. He actually stands in there this time and lets it rip. This is a beautiful play on 3rd down in the 4th quarter, especially when your team is trailing. I mean, look at that. Boom, foot in the ground. Right on the money. That's good stuff right there. So that's going to pretty much be the end of the video. Up and down day for Van Buren. Certainly made some nice throws. Also had some throws that he would probably want back for sure. Listen, I've been asked, if he started the whole season, would the season look different from LSU? I don't think so. I really don't. I think there's so many other problems outside of the quarterback position. But Michael Van Buren did have a solid day against Arkansas in his first start of the season for the team, and excited to see what he does for the rest of the season. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.